Hello and welcome to the Empower Couples podcast, where here you get modern, non-boring relationship advice for you and your partner to communicate like pros, fight smarter, and stay on the same team no matter the challenge that you face. I am one of your hosts, Aaron Freeman.
And I'm Jocelyn Freeman, but you all just know us as the Freemans.
And this episode is about our 3-month parenting update. It's going to be exciting. It's about what's working for us, the challenges that have come up, and the most helpful resources that we found. Given, of course, Sky Noel is 12 weeks.
I know, 12 weeks or 3 months, right? It's like trying to figure out, do you do it on the date of their, so she'll technically be 3 months on the 21st, but she's 12 weeks. So it has been quite a journey, hasn't it? Like a lot of lessons, a lot of discovery, a lot of learning, and we're going to get into specific questions that have been submitted. But first, I wanted to share this inspiring message. Well, I'm calling it inspiring. I guess I'm biased, but it's what came to me this morning meditating was just how amazing I'd say parenting has been, in the sense that it has invited me and us, I would speak on behalf of us, to raise our standard for how we're showing up. Like, I think because I know she's watching, she's, listening, and even though she doesn't really know what we're saying yet, I believe she can feel the energy of it. I believe that she is responding to how she sees us interacting. I think that they can feel things on an energetic level, and it is imprinting something in her. That's what I believe. It doesn't matter how old she is. It is really inviting me to be more accountable to how I'm speaking to you. How we work through things together, the energy between us, showing love and affection. Don't you think it's been that way for us? Like, it's raised our standard, I feel.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there'll probably be a number of things in the challenge section that we can share here, but I want to get really specific even about how our life looks, because you said meditating, and then I was kind of like hooked on that, because how you meditate is not how you meditated before. Right. So I want everyone to be clear, like, obviously things are different for us. Jocelyn used to be able to sit on our couch together. We light the candle, we have cacao, we meditate, listen to certain things. So now it is Jocelyn's holding Sky
for a contact nap.
I get the cacao out, and you might be able to drink it right away. You might not. Then you have to go into the dark room to try to get her to go to sleep. Then I turn on Mozart lullabies in the living room.
We have heard that 3,000 times already.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, I think I'm going to be able to play Mozart here without having ever touched a piano. Yeah. So that's on, ready for you to come out of the room to sit down to get now your lukewarm cacao.
Yeah.
While Sky is now resting on you, and sometimes I pick the cup up and
give it to me.
Actually put it in your mouth.
Yes.
And then you get a few minutes to maybe find one meditation thing. And then, so even that's different is all I wanted to say.
Yes, it is. And thank you for sharing exactly what it looks like. And that's one thing I've really had to lean into is, okay, how can I still do those things that are meaningful to me, that fill my cup, even though it looks different? And, I hope that's even an inspiring thought for those of you listening who maybe feel it's an all or nothing thing. Oh, I can't meditate anymore because I have a baby. I can't go work out anymore because we have 2 kids. Well, how could you get creative? Could it be not exactly what you'd hope for, but closer than nothing, right? Anything you want to say else in the opening before we get into the questions?
No, I think that's good. I want to just paint that picture. And yeah, I mean, we have had to get used to, how do I do this? And it might not look exactly the way it had before. And is that enough? Is it just what I can create, what we can create now?
Yeah.
And you know what? I just want to jump into the first question.
Yeah.
Because anytime we're out now, to people that know that we have a Sky.
A baby Sky.
A Sky. What is always, if it's not a question, it's usually a statement. What is that for you?
It's about sleep.
Of course, it's about sleep, and it's not even a question.
Are you exhausted, or how do they put it?
Yeah, it is something like that. Oh, I'm sure you are getting no sleep.
Right.
It's always the very first thing. I was even at a men's group last night. We did a sweat lodge, actually, and I was sharing with a guy I had seen before, and that was the very first thing. Oh, and the host came up to me, and she said, "Oh, man, you must be so tired." And I'm like thinking in my head, I hear this every time.
Yeah, it's like the thing with parenting.
Nothing else. Oh, like,
You must
what
be
does
so
she look like?
happy.
No. Oh, it's that sleep. And I say to everyone, which is the same for us, I'll let you say what we say.
Well, it's actually going, knock on wood, really well for us. And I know that everyone has different experiences with sleep.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're going to share our current sleep journey. But if you are feeling it's completely different, we aren't by any means saying you're doing something wrong. I think you and I are very regimented people. Thank goodness both of
Yeah,
us
that's
are
true. I
pretty
acknowledge that.
type A people. And so from the very beginning, we committed to a specific plan with sleep, and we'll share some of those details. And so to be honest, and I know we're really lucky, quote unquote, in this way, but also it's because I think of some of the things we're doing.
Yeah, I do want to say that because I think I fluffed it off. I kind of shrugged it off, as this sort of, oh, we have just a great baby that happens to sleep. But just because I think I'm trying to be nice when people ask about that, I honestly believe we are so intentional with the things that we're doing that it's just making a difference.
Yeah, so just like
So I do want to say, what I said yesterday to the comment, I finally said, no, I've slept well every single night. And so she looked at me like kind of startled. And I said, but because there are certain things that we're doing.
Right. And it's not because he's not participating, by the way. Like, he's sleeping well
that's
because
true,
he's
that's
in
true.
another room. And
Yeah.
so, okay, just a few things. Like, there's only been a few nights, to be honest, where we were like, whoa, that was not awesome. For the most part, we have gotten 4-hour stretches, 5, 6. Last night, oh, thank goodness, had an 8-hour stretch.
First 7-hour stretch was in Hawaii, actually.
Yes.
That was traveling. That was big for me.
Yeah, exactly. And we have chosen to co-sleep. And so she's in a kind of pad between us. And so it is to our standards. And I know all of you are going to have different opinions about safety. But anyway, I know lots of sleep experts who have studied sleep around the world, and co-sleeping is normal in many, many cultures. But in America, we can villainize it. How dare you sleep with your baby in the bed? But I believe...
I think you just got to be clear. It's a very, very padded around the sides. It's like it's taller than my pillow. It's taller than my shoulder. I wouldn't even be able to roll
Exactly. So we have studied what we feel is safe for us and our family, and that's our choice. And so anyway, she's with us. We can respond to her before she even cries, I think, which is fantastic. And we use several programs. We'll share about that a little bit further down in the resources that we're going to share with you. But we learned about some fundamentals to sleep really early. And I'd say another helpful thing has been, I have been obsessed with my eating. And so even early on, we identified a couple foods that created gas, and then that made her uncomfortable and impacted her sleep. And so I'm not eating any of those things. And I think I've been kind of like obsessed in a good way with like, how can we make this the best experience for her and for us?
Yeah.
And we've been really regimented about sleep.
Yeah, I think a couple other just quick notes. The sort of bath routine, we do that every night. And it's more so, as you have shared with me, you create little signals that it's time to sleep. I think another big thing has been the light. So we just have these little light socket lights that are like salt lamps. So all the lights in the house are off. And I think having so much less stimulus has also really been a huge thing, so that she knows that it's not only bedtime, but it's also she's not being continuously stimulated as we move into actual sleep. I think that's pretty big.
We focus on being relaxed to our energy. I think, I don't remember if I read it, heard it somewhere, but they talked about how sometimes the evenings can be hard on babies because the house is stressful, right? There's tons of clinking pans and yelling and, just a lot of chaos energy. We really focus on it being chill and relaxed.
Oh, yeah.
And that, I think we believe that. Oh, there was one more question. Do we plan to sleep train? So we haven't fully decided on to what degree we're going to quote unquote sleep train. The program that we did for newborn, taking care of babies, and again, we'll share more about that later on, that was really great for the newborn stage. And we know that she has a program that is more specific to sleep training at 5 months. And we haven't 100% decided, like, how do we feel about the crying thing? We're still reading, researching, learning about what we want to do. But what matters to us now is that she forms a strong attachment to us now. She feels fully safe, secure, bonded to us. She knows we're going to respond to her. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to decide at like 5 months, what do we feel she needs next? Like, is she ready to be in her own room? And we want to have a conversation with her in a way, like really feel into it with her, like it's a collaborative decision. So that's to be determined on the sleep training.
Yeah, I think that about covers it enough for sleep on this podcast. So I'm excited to go into the next one, which when I share with people in person, and some of you heard this on the podcast, so Sky Noel has gone potty on her own potty something like 50 times probably.
Okay, so they're all going, what do you mean? A 12-week-old has gone on their own potty? What is that?
That's right. Well, the process is called elimination communication. We'll share more about the resource, but it's the idea really that, look, you're an adult, right, listening to this. Do you want to sit at work or sit on your couch in your own feces and soil? No. Why do you think your baby wants to? The answer is they don't. Honestly, it's been for so many other cultures and so many other years before
the diaper industry.
Well, and Jocelyn brought this up to me. Before Pampers hit their marketing so hard, I want everyone to really get that. You think that you need to diaper your child for a year or more.
2 years, 3 years sometimes.
Don't even get me started on 2 or 3 years. I mean, even past a year, you only think that because Pampers has a great marketing team.
They admitted that. There was
the
kind of trainer to elimination communication. She had a conversation directly with an executive who has been with Pampers for decades, was a part of the marketing campaign in the 80s, I think he said, that started this narrative about how babies developmentally aren't ready to potty train till 2 or 3. That was a marketing campaign they came up with.
Yeah, he said they tried it out and they actually should have been more responsible about how deep that went into people's beliefs.
And so this elimination communication philosophy.
So sorry for that side note.
No, so why don't you go into further, like, so how is it, we're not forcing her to go on a potty, right? It's not, she still has diapers on. Yeah. What is it that we're doing?
Well, let me paint the picture too, because, well, I'm saying this because I'm also proud. So on day 13, I technically started this.
It didn't go great the first time.
That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting here, right? So
she didn't love it at first.
Okay, give me a second to share here. I know maybe you're traumatized too. I did it's really a hold over a regular toilet, and she went. So I was so proud for 1 second that she went in a regular potty, and then she hated it because it wasn't the right thing. So get in your mind, she's not sitting on a regular toilet. She has a small, like, plastic. It's a small plastic toilet, but I can take the insert out, and then so we have that either on the counter or on the sink in the bathroom or by where we change it, right? So then you kind of hold her over top of that, and she goes. So what do you mean? Okay, well, at different times, a baby is typically going to go to the bathroom. And some of these times, which in the resource, Go Diaper Free, which we'll share more about, is called generic timing. So typically there's a certain period of time after they eat or when they wake up from naps or when they get out of a stroller. So that's where we've been focusing our time. So after a nap, what we do is,
you're doing like a how-to program.
Oh, sorry.
Right now.
Yeah, I probably should have been doing
let's
more.
stay from a little higher level maybe.
So at each of those opportunities, we offer her the opportunity. So we just hold her over her little toilet, and then we make a certain sound associated with the type of elimination.
I'll do it here really quick. For pee.
Yeah.
And then poo is
Yeah, so we make that sound, and then the idea is that eventually she's going to be able to associate that with the sound and make the sound back to us, because babies can communicate through sound before they have language. Now, we're not there yet, so she's not communicating to us as much.
But she doesn't make those specific sounds, but she does tell us. Especially I've noticed in the middle of the night when she wakes up after whatever stretch she gets, she'll make noises. And there's been times where she's holding it herself. Like she has
That's
not gone.
happening. Let me say that. So that's actually happening.
We're not forcing her to hold it. She's holding it, makes a noise. We offer her the potty and she goes. You guys, they are intelligent.
Yeah.
They are so smart.
Yeah.
These babies.
It's really beyond the conscious mind there too. It's she somewhere subconsciously knows that she's going to get an opportunity to go. She literally is holding it.
Yeah, not all the time. I mean,
Not
believe
all
me,
the
we
time.
do change some
Yeah,
dirty
so
diapers. But
that's be clear. Yeah, we do change dirty diapers. Sometimes we'll go to offer and she had already went, and sometimes we'll offer and she doesn't go. Sometimes she went, but then we offer and she goes again. So either way, we've probably saved
at least 1 to 2 diapers a day.
Yeah, so around, I'd say 40, well, she's went potty maybe 50, 60 times, and maybe we've saved like 40 diapers or something like that.
Okay.
I mean, that's not 100% accurate, but I guess that's enough for this one.
Yeah.
I just want to say, so I'm going to say it's kind of funny. To all the haters that didn't think I'd be able to do this, because honestly, this is the one thing I lead. I led the way on doing this, and this is working.
It is.
It is straight up working. I can clearly see that, I don't know what the time is going to be, but she is going to be the result of what we're doing. We're not potty training her now. The result of us doing this elimination communication is going to be that she's going to be potty trained pretty quickly.
Well, just 2 quick things, then we'll move to the next question. The trainer for elimination communication, Andrea Olson, she has all 5 of her kids, 5 kids, you guys, did not go in, if I'm remembering this correctly,
that's right.
in their diaper anymore by 1 year.
9 months, I'm pretty sure.
9 months? Okay, yeah. Either number is incredible. And then lastly, I'll say, when Sky goes in the potty, because we have her looking at a mirror, whether it's in her room, on her changing table, or in the bathroom, she is smiling.
Yeah.
So you guys, I want you to understand, she is so proud of herself. And babies are. When they go
That's cute.
and they're like not going on themselves, they're happy.
Yeah.
And so she loves it. It's a great bonding experience.
Semi-jokingly, but I think you're right. Jocelyn, once we started getting into this, you really picked up on it. And you started talking about how giving her dignity.
Yes, I think it is about dignity for sure. Okay, next question is kind of a relationship-oriented question. And they said, so even as relationship coaches, what has surprised us in parenting as partners? So do you want to share first? Like, what has there anything been surprising in terms of what it's taken to do this together as a team?
Well, I guess initially I was just thinking about what has surprised me is, I guess, just how great of a mom you are. I mean, there's been way more adjustment for you, I would say, than me. And you've really even picked up even more on being able to soothe and be able to get to sleep and going in a dark room, which used to be for like hours, which now you've done such a great job. It's like you can get her to be asleep in 10 minutes sometimes, but not always. You know, it's the flexibility, but the amount that you've had to adjust, but you've just done it with such great attitude. I mean, there's no, sometimes there's some emotion and we talk through it, but I mean, mostly even when Sky's upset, you typically meet that upset with, oh, like, it's okay, and I'm here for you, and what are you trying to communicate? And that's like such a great energy and attitude. I think you could tell me I meet that now more so that way in the beginning, and that might lead to the other question of like, what did I think was challenging? But I might as well just say it now. Sometimes the volume and the speed at which she would get to that volume after I was
He's not
just
used to the pitch.
holding her, like completely just calm and everything. Just something in me is like, this doesn't make sense. You should not be getting to this volume. So I felt that in my body, so it wasn't always what is it that you're needing? It was more so like, you should stop. So that was my energy. And now I will say, really the last couple of weeks, I think I've really transformed my energy. Whatever noise she's making, whatever pitch, I'm calm. Sometimes we just kind of laugh together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's been a big shift for me.
I completely have seen that in you, so I'm really glad you have acknowledged that. A couple things come to mind in terms of surprises me in terms of parenting as partners. I think how much I have had to lean on you in a way and be vulnerable and ask for a lot. Mm-hmm. I mean, whether that's like asking you every day to like make me some kind of food, get me water, hey, can you do this? Can you get this? Or even like, there's been some vulnerable moments in my healing process. Hey, I need this. And just the amount that I've had to kind of be vulnerable, humble myself, lean on you. And I think how much it's not necessarily surprising, but it stands out in terms of how much we have had to just be expressive about our needs. Whether that's needing a few minutes of alone time, hey, like for you, hey, I need to get out of the house for a little bit. Or hey, like I need to like have a moment of intimacy with you. Like us being really expressive with each other, it has been so essential and 10 times even more important than before she was here. Mm-hmm. Definitely expressing that. So then the second piece that comes to me that's quote unquote been surprising, I think in a way has been how much being a mom has like intuitively kicked in. I know I always heard moms say that, but like, oh, it's your intuition, it's your instinct. But I have to acknowledge myself that I feel as though I'm really a great mom, and I don't think I believed that I was going to be that much, to be honest. Like I had some limiting beliefs about how I was going to be as a mom, and I'm not that maternal. I'm not that, I don't know. I doubted it. I doubted my intuition. I doubted my ability to just like be connected to a baby in a way, because neither of us, to be honest, had a strong like we must be parents instinct. We know a lot of people who are like, we've got to be parents. It's like their biggest goal in life. To be honest, it wasn't that for us. And so having her now, though, I'm like, wow, it is for me such an instinct, and I am somewhat, I guess, impressed with myself in a way, not like in a braggy way, but like
you should be.
I have been, I guess.
Well, because it's not a comparison to anyone else, so you can be completely inspired by yourself.
That's true. Thank you. And I'm inspired by you. You have been amazing.
Well, I mean, I think I said it on the other episode, so I won't go into it too much here. But for those of you, if you knew the aversion I had towards babies before, like literally, I never even held a baby. Not my cousins, not my nephews, and I never wanted to. Like totally scared. I'm sure there's other men that can relate, but had no desire to even hold a baby ever. And so I thought, I hope that's not something I'm going to have to overcome with Sky, and it wasn't. Right from the beginning, like I just wanted to hold her. It didn't have to be a conscious choice. I was glad about that. So there was something even innate for me. And I love holding her. I love seeing her. I love being able to do things where I can sing a song or make a noise or say something, and then she like laughs.
Yeah, she started to kind of interact and smile, and it is cute.
Yeah, something did switch. I mean, and again, it didn't come as like a conscious choice, which I was glad about. I didn't want to have to do that type of personal transformation around that. And there's going to be more, of course, and that's all I wanted to say about that. Really.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, next has been what's been the hardest part for each of us personally?
Yeah, well, we shared a couple of things, I think, inside that last question, but I'll transition here to say, for me, I have found that it's the amount of time inside
the house,
like inside the house, and initially how it feels kind of limiting. Like some of the things, even up to a few weeks ago, was more like, do I now only exist inside of the routine and these windows of this baby? And, it's funny, I said the other day, because your mom comes over a lot. Her term is Graham, not Grandma, Graham. But I said, it's crazy. It's taking 3 of us right now to maintain and to keep this small being going. Like 3 adults to 1 baby. Like that's what it was taking, So I think I did feel initially somewhat limited in like my choices for the day, where obviously without a child, it's like, I can pretty much do whatever. I can go to a cafe. I can meet up with whoever I want, and we can podcast, and basically we can do Instagram stuff. We can do anything we want at any time. And it might seem obvious to some parents that are listening, but that was probably the next biggest challenge, was just feeling like kind of like limited. Like I can't do now what I would want to do. And is now my life is my identity now just to serve this small, tiny 2-month-old being at the time. And I just was checking it out. Like, is that all I'm supposed to be right now?
And if I can riff off that too, because that's been, a challenge for me as well. It's a huge adjustment. And you and I have conversations about it. One of the things that's been really helpful for our partnership is we're able to just be really honest with whatever's there. If it's like, oh my gosh, I am struggling that we are home today again, right? Like we're able to just say what's there as
After
opposed
7 days, we're like, oh my gosh, we haven't even left the house.
Right. And so we're able to just be honest, like, oh my gosh, I'm like really struggling with this. Like I need to switch things up. But anyway, my point is that we're just able to be so honest with each other about that experience is this word surrender. So you and I have been having conversations about this season, and we keep reminding each other, this is a season. This is the early days, the first few months. It's going to be so different at 6 months, 9, a year, and beyond. And if we just remind each other of this is a season, and the word that's been really supportive to me has been surrender. Like, don't resist this. What you resist persists. Just surrender into it. And that's not like a woe is me, like, oh, I have to surrender. No, it's like, just lean into it. Just relax, lean into this season. It is what it looks like. I see people on it. Like I have friends who are like in Costa Rica right now, and they're building their businesses out all the time. Like, they're living this outward life. And sometimes my brain goes to like, oh man, like I miss those days of like being out in the world and, just networking and being out there. But then I'm like, you know what? No, this is our world right now. This is what it looks like. It's a season. Surrender and lean into it. And that's been really helpful to me.
Yeah, I agree. And this has all been really real for us. And obviously, if you guys have been listening, you heard the Hawaii podcast. And I would even say, since we got back from that, I felt like we've really been embracing. We've really accepted. We've really surrendered. But now even taken a step further from that and just have so much joy just in whatever it is we're doing with her.
Yeah.
Honestly, you do feel that.
Well, actually, that leads to another thing that I felt like a challenge was, in a way, like our attitude. I think that we did go through a few weeks. The first few weeks, I feel like you're riding on a high, and you're like, oh my gosh, this newborn,
Is it 2
and
to 3,
something
maybe?
like that. And then it kind of like hit us of like, whoa, this is really different.
Actually, I think it was the second month, at least for me.
Oh, yeah. I think
felt
month
harder.
2 felt absolutely harder to me as well. So it was like our attitudes. I think what was challenging was feeling not like our kind of positive selves in a way. Like I think we were just letting ourselves get away with kind of a slumpy attitude to our standards.
I mean, maybe, I don't know. It's a lot of changes.
But but where I'm going is, you made a powerful decision recently, and it's been awesome, where you're like, I'm going to wake up every day saying, we woke up. Like, how lucky are we to be alive again today? And I know that can sound kind of like cheesy or anything, but you're really like creating that. And that's been influencing me. And so what felt challenging in terms of our attitude and our mindset being just kind of complacent, it's been really upbeat more recently. And like, okay, we're home. Yes. Okay. Yes. We're like not really changing up a lot with the routine. Every day kind of feels somewhat similar, but we're doing it with more joy, and we're finding ways to laugh. And so that's been helpful for the challenge.
Yeah, I think so too.
Where do you want to head next?
Well, let's talk about some of the resources that have made a big difference. And as you were talking, I thought about another one. So let me actually start with this. Because it's about leaps, and you were talking about that.
Yeah.
Thankfully, a friend of ours, and what's the name of the app?
It's not Wonder Weeks. That's it.
Oh,
Wonder Weeks.
I've actually never even seen the app, because you tell me. So it's been great because early on, we would feel like we were making progress on sleep or EC, which is the short for elimination communication.
Just her
Windows
attitude being a
feeding,
certain
all the
way.
stuff. Yeah, and all of a sudden we'd have this harder day, or things would seem to be upsetting her, or 2 days. And then our friend said, you have to get this app because it tells you when the developmental leaps are happening. And I'm amazed. It predicts it, even for the future, with such accuracy. that you can see like, oh, a developmental leap is coming. So what we've been saying is we do see it coming. And almost any time something is happening where she seems more fussy or upset, we just pretty much say to her, are you leaping?
Are you leaping? Exactly.
So that's been funny. And so to know that there are developmental leaps, and that's why Sky in this case, or any one of your babies, is going through some type of change, that's been huge.
Yeah.
Rather than be like, why is this happening?
Right. Kind of understanding why a change in attitude, why more fussy, why having a harder time sleeping for a few days. That has been huge. Another one we mentioned about elimination communication is Go Diaper Free. Highly recommend following her Instagram, checking out her book, her resources. Absolutely amazing. And we'll link these in the show notes too to make it easy for you
Her
all.
name's Andrea Olson.
Yep.
But the brand is Go Diaper Free.
Yep. So that's been fantastic. I did mention that for the newborn stage, I did the taking care of baby. I did it in terms of watched it, but then we've been really implementing it together. And I'm always like, okay, here's this sleep fact. Okay, here's this.
I just honestly been going along the ride. I wouldn't even say we've been implementing it. You're like, here's what we're doing for the routine. I'm like, okay, sure.
But you've been so on board, and that's really, really helpful.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Even like what this week, you're moving the nap up till 7:15.
You mean
almost.
bedtime?
Yeah.
Like the
Oh, yeah,
bedtime is going
yeah.
earlier. So I went to bed really early last night. But it's, it's a season. It's a season. So anyway, Taking Care of Babies newborn program has been helpful. And that doesn't involve any crying it out, by the way. It's really just like foundational things for good sleep habits. And then I have to say, and I know that there's some, well, not some, but like some people can be like, babies should not have this or that. Like there can be a lot of opinions, but we personally have had success with the Dreamland Swaddle. It's lightly weighted and it really helped her sleep and relax. And to us feels like really great, really safe. And again, I know there's so many moms with different opinions, but personally, it has been great for us. We'll put the link in the show notes as well because Dreamland actually gave us a discount code. So you can actually get a certain percentage off. That was a game changer compared to any other swaddles that we had. That's what I think helped get that 8-hour stretch last night that we got.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, weighted, and then sometimes the arms are down. There's another one where it kind of keeps their arms up, but then they're not able to like jerk themselves awake.
Yes.
And that one's, we have one that's pink and it's not weighted. And I've noticed sometimes we go back and forth, or it's mostly you then with the swaddles. We even do EC at night, by the way. Like if she starts to wake up, we offer the potty. Last night I even think we caught a diaper. It was dry, replaced it. It's like went an entire night on the same diaper. And those are like huge wins for me. But my point being, there are different types of swaddles, and I think having those 2 to 3 that we have and sometimes rotating them has also been beneficial.
Absolutely. A little bit of change. So then last question, I think those are the resources we wanted to cover, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So last question was, what is something we've done, that's been helpful in business and parenting? I have to say that I'm really glad we introduced Sky to 2 other caregivers early on. I know that some people maybe don't have the support locally. I'm really grateful. We're grateful to have my mom here locally. She's Graham, and she comes over and helps. She's taking some time off work, and that's been, oh my gosh, just such a miracle. And then we do have a nanny part-time. She comes anywhere from like 18 to 20 hours a week, and that's been absolutely amazing. So having a little bit of support each day, we are very thankful that we can have that. We know that not everyone is able to. And I'm really glad we introduced her early on. And I know that some people, like I have a good friend, she got 4 months off of work, which I know is really amazing. And she didn't introduce caregivers till like then or after. And that can be harder for them to adjust. And so Sky is super comfortable and secure and happy with these 2 other people. And so I think that's been really good, don't you think?
Yeah, totally. And I was just going to add, it's not really for business specific, but I'm really happy because it's one of my main intents for Sky. And again, I'm not forcing her to be any particular way, but I would love for her to be outgoing and be interested in other people and be kind of social, but also to know that there's many different cultures, many different types of people, many different skin tones and expressions of how people show up in the world. And she's now been held and introduced to a number of different people, friends of ours with different backgrounds. We've traveled with her now, and I think she's getting super comfortable with many different types of people.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm just really thankful about that. And then however Sky shows up, I'm just here to support and be a guide for her own expression, however that is. And I honestly feel like she's going to be just super interested in others and be comfortable around other people.
I love that. Yeah, and we're really thankful in that running our business and the way we run our business is we get to really set our own hours. And you guys have probably heard us say
That is a big thing too.
On another episode that one of the ways we designed our life was we don't start work, quote unquote, like, because it's like it doesn't feel like work, right? We're not, oh, we have to go to work. We don't start till 11, and that's a lifestyle design that we chose, and we'll continue to choose that. And we also have amazing clients who are super understanding. They're very respectful of like the best hours to, have these sessions with them. And we just have the best clients, and we work with amazing couples. And by the way, we've signed on some incredible couples recently for our 3 to 6 month coaching. And you don't even have to choose, those of you listening, to necessarily be ready to commit to 3 to 6 months. You actually start with a relationship breakthrough session. And that first session is about getting into one of the challenges that keeps coming up for you. And we provide you a tool to overcome that even faster, whether that's about communication, conflict. And that first session, you're already going to feel more ease, more freedom. You're going to feel like you have a tool, something to change it, right? So we do want to open up 3 more spots for relationship breakthrough sessions for the end of March, beginning of April. And so you can actually go to meetthefreemans.com/coaching, read any details you want, and then you can actually schedule right there. So again, just 3 more spots. We love working with couples, and
we just make it so easy. It's literally only $97 for 2-on-2 time with both of us, and we'll promise you have the biggest breakthrough in your relationship that you've had, and it's only going to be 1 hour, $97. I mean, you want a huge breakthrough for $97?
I don't know.
That's way worth it than to continue to be in an argument hangover, or to feel like you're not making progress, or to feel stuck.
The communication piece is huge.
Nothing.
Absolutely. So we hope you've enjoyed this episode. We love sharing our parenting journey, and we just love all of you being so supportive on Instagram as well. And just keep on sending us your thoughts, your questions. With that, we'll talk to you on the next episode.